has asked for the finance minister to step aside and to go for a vote of censure. We have watched in astonishment that the majority have also asked their president to sack the finance minister. But we sit here today and nothing has happened. I am asking clergy, the Islamic community, all alternative parties, to help me in asking the finance minister to step down on moral grounds. He has failed this nation, and the fact that he is there, his company has benefited from loans to this nation, is something that is embarrassing to all of us as Ghanaians. It is embarrassing on the international community that the wanton borrowing has been a result because he, the finance minister, wants to benefit with his specific companies. He must step down on moral grounds. The PPP believes that after the finance minister steps down on moral grounds, the following decisions must be taken to build a better Ghana. We must stop borrowing. Number one, we must stop borrowing. Number two, do not start any new projects. Complete what has already been started. Suspend all non-essential projects like the National Theatre.
And so, as we speak, we have to cut this interview because Johnson Asedun Ketia has just walked to the delegates' stance, and you'd notice that when he came around, so in your shot is Johnson Asedun Ketia, General. The mosquito who has taken over the stance of the delegates. I'm sure at this stage it will be competition. Other candidates will try to test the reaction of delegates as they move along. And so he's just fraternizing with delegates, moving from one location to the other. I may not be surprised that what we are watching on the screens, because even his arrival was met with some thunderous applause. And then when the presentations were being made, at any time that his image came on the screen, it drew some reaction from members of the party. This is a man who has led the party for 17 years as General Secretary and has been very, very active, instrumental in fighting back those who have been trying to undermine the NDC. And so throughout his history as General Secretary of the party, he has been admired by members of the party. And so it is of no surprise that as he seeks their mandate to lead the party, many of them will show their appreciation for what he has done. And don't forget that this competition is very, very tight, and we have all the candidates who at this stage would also want to have a feel. But I can tell you, I have contested an election before as a student, and if you don't have that strength to withstand pressure, to maybe withstand any form of embarrassment, what General Johnson Asedun Ketia is doing, very few will attempt, because if you step out and nobody's bothering you, they just look at you as if you are an image just passing by. I can tell you the trauma, the psychological impact on your demeanor can be very, very disturbing. So it takes the brave to go through what we have just witnessed. Little about what Johnson Asedun Ketia was doing when we cut into the presentation by the representative of the Progressive People's Party. If my producers are ready, I may want us to go back and listen to the other part of the presentation by the Progressive People's Party.
Number 2, do not start any new projects. Complete what has already been started. Suspend all non-essential projects like the National Theatre. In times of difficulty, this is not a priority project for this nation. Cut the executive cost by 60%. Reduce the number of ministers to 14 and the deputy ministers no more than 35. Cut down on the Jubilee House staff by 60%. Ban importation of non-essential goods, not just BOG refusal to provide forex. Reduce taxes to encourage domestic production. Restore indigenous financial institutions whose license were wrongly taken away. Evidence have shown that competitors were targeted and their businesses destroyed. But little did you know, little did you understand that the Ghanaians who were working, that you have sent home, you have not been able to provide any alternative employment for those Ghanaians. And you stand there with egg on your face. You have not been able to show any tangible reason why you did this, outside the fact that the finance minister, who is a referee, is also a player. And so he's asking us to cut 40% of our savings. Do you know who he's having the meetings with? He's having the meetings with management of Data Bank, because the director of SEC worked with him in Data Bank. So he's doing a personal management meeting in doing what he does to Ghana. Ghana has suffered for far too long. We wish the NDC well. By any chance, if the NDC gets to that Jubilee House before us, we ask them to consider what we have put here as the policy of the Progressive People's Party. Thank you very much. PPP, yes sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, PPP.
I would like to stand on existing protocols as established by this Congress from the beginning and bring you greetings from His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, the Vice President, and the entire leadership of the New Patriotic Party led by Chairman Stephen Ayensu Ntim. We want to begin by commending the National Democratic Congress for successfully organizing your internal elections from the base of the party, the wards, the branches, constituency to the regional. We commend you for this success that has been achieved. We also want to commend you for your youth and women conference that was organized at Cape Coast. We wish to remind you, some few issues came out from the Youth Congress, which we need to, as a party, solidarize with you and remind you that the country would need a peaceful coexistence, and we condemn the violence that ensued at the Cape Coast Conference. We do know that the leader and former president of the NDC, the former president of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, did reminded us that the party has a revolutionary route, and when it comes to violence, nobody can compete you. And we admit, but we remind you that we have the Vigilantism Act that we want you to go through. Mr. Chairman, we want to make an appeal to you. We have actually put together a document. We have heard that you have a school, a party school that you have established for the NDC. We have put together a document to establish a faculty of resource coalition where we will take the NDC through how to collate resource and go to the Supreme Court without fear or favor. Mr. Chairman, we want to also stand on behalf of the people of Ghana to apologize to the Supreme Court and the people of Ghana for the NDC playing on the emotions of the people of Ghana despite the fact that you went to the Supreme Court without a shred of evidence to prove your case as the winners of the election. Mr. Chairman, 2024 elections, I know you are here to elect leaders. You want to elect leaders that will steer the affairs to win 2024 elections. Mr. Chairman, Your Excellency, 2024 is a foregone conclusion. We would win the election with a wider margin that will confront the NDC not to make an attempt to even appear or even petition the Supreme Court.
NDC, oh say, NDC, oh say, I welcome you all back from the short break, and I have these announcements. This part is going to be handled by the Electoral Commission of Ghana. The Electoral Committee of the party will be assisting them. However, I've been told there are a number of persons who are within the arena who have not been accredited. If you are not a candidate agent, if you are not a member of the Electoral Committee of the party, or you have not been assigned any role to play by the Electoral Commission of Ghana, I'm appealing to you to move to the appropriate place that has been assigned you, so we will not be forced to invite the police to help us get you to your right place. We would not want to use the police in doing so. So after this announcement, if you know you are not wearing a candidate agent tag, you are not a candidate, you are not a member of the elections committee of the party, you do not have any role assigned you as a member of the Congress committee, you know where you are supposed to sit. We do not want to use the police to send you to where we expect you to sit. I am informing you that 17 centers have been created for the purposes of voting. I will announce the order of these centers and the regions that will vote at the center. The very first center that you have in front of me to the right will be occupied by Greater Accra A. Greater Accra has been divided into two. Greater Accra A will have the first point. Greater Accra B will take the next section or the next zone. Volta region, which is sitting at the top, will take the third voting zone. Oti region and Western North region. Oti region and Western North region will take the fourth zone. Northern region will take the fifth zone. Ashanti region A will follow Northern region. Ashanti Region B will take the 7th zone, and Ashanti Region C will take the 8th voting zone. Bono East and Savannah is combined as the 9th zone. Upper West region and Northeast region is combined as the 10th zone. Ahafo and Bono region is the 11th zone. Eastern A is the 12th zone, to be followed by Eastern B, the 13th zone or zone 13. Western region is the 14th zone, zone 14. Upper East region, you are zone 15. Central region, you are zone 16. And national and diasporian delegates are at the national zone, which is zone 17. So these are the 17 voting centers. So take note of them. We will announce them the second time, but that will be later. I will ask that if you are not a candidate agent, don't occupy the space within the inner perimeter. We will invite the Ghana police to lead you to your rightful place. So when voting commences, OT and Western region, you will have to walk down. Volta region, you will also have to come down, and the same way our MPs and former appointees, you will vote in your region. You will join the region that has been mentioned and assigned, the zone that has been mentioned and assigned to your region. Thank you very much. I will invite the chairman of the party's elections committee, Comrade Alex Segbefia, to perform an important function, after which we will also invite the Director of Legal to make some announcements to all of us. After that, candidates, we expect you to be moving towards the days for introduction. Move away from the stands and come towards the days for introduction. If we mention you and you are not here, we will not introduce you later. Come here to be introduced. Thank you very much. I have Comrade Amaliba, our Director of Legal, will do the announcements first. After that, the Elections Committee Chair will have some announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, Kofi. Comrades, the Electoral Commission has been served with some injunction applications. Some of those applications have been served the party as well. Based on that, some constituencies have been restrained from participating in the elections. So just listen attentively. When you hear your constituency, it means that you cannot take part in the elections. The first one is Dorma Central. Dorma Central has been restrained from taking part in these elections. The second one is Menchia South.
Manchia South has also been restrained. Then the third one is Agona East. These three constituencies have been restrained because there are pending injunction applications against the delegates who are to partake in this exercise. However, there is an individual who has also been restrained, and that is the Eastern Regional Women's Organizer. She goes by the name Sherry Nana Ampim. She cannot also vote. So these are the constituencies and the individual involved who cannot vote. I'm told the name is Nana, not Nana. Yes.
Please listen to this very important announcement. This will be the second time I make this announcement, and it will be the last. The next time will be action that will be taken. You are not allowed to use your phone in the voting booth. As much as possible, even avoid taking calls whilst you are in queue to go and vote. Don't use your phone in the booth. If we find you using your phone in the booth, we will seize that phone. You may not have access to the phone. Don't use your phone. In other words, no voter is to take any picture of his or her vote. If you find you doing that, we are going to seize your phone, and you may not have your phone for a very long time. So take note. No using of mobile phone in the voting arena. The candidate agents, after the introduction of the candidates, the candidate agents will move and take position before we invite delegates to come down and start the voting process. So candidate agents, be ready to take your position. You already know, you've gone through training, and you know where you are to position yourself so you can observe the process appropriately. And you take position before the first person move in. I will invite the chair of the election committee to perform one function, then I will continue thereafter. Thank you.
In this voting, Doma Central, Manchia South, and Agona East. And the Eastern Regional Women's Organizer has also been restrained from voting today because of an injunction. She's Sherry Nana Ampim. Mobile phones are not allowed in the polling booths, and agents must also be standing by.
Very much.
So how has the process been so far?
The process to me has been very smooth. This is about one of the smoothest congresses I've personally attended. You have very strict enforcement of the rules and regulations. If you don't have the VIP tag, there is a place you have to go through. If you don't have the observer tag, if you don't have a tag at all. So for me, I think that the NDC has made me proud, seeing the comradeship that everybody has shown. I'm excited, and I look forward to a much more exciting election. For us in the NDC, this election is an election for the soul of our party. We have a current government that is so bent on breaking the aids, irrespective of how reckless they've been. And so Ghanaians know that the only alternative is the NDC. And I believe that every citizen watching me today have as much interest in this election as we, the members of the NDC, have. But I'm particularly impressed. If you listen to the speech of the former president and our presumptive flag bearer, you will know that the enthusiasm, the encouragement, and the strength of everybody to contribute their quota to rescue power and to rescue this nation from the mismanagement that we are facing. So I'm particularly happy about what I'm seeing.
So that is Beatrice's introductory remark. As we speak, I just want you to have an idea about what is happening. The EC is set, the polling stations are ready, you can see the ballot boxes ready. EC officials will be ensuring that voters go through the process, the indelible ink and everything that they have to do as normal elections are seated. Kofi Adams is by the microphone, just taking the candidates, the agents, and delegates through the processes they would have to follow. As we speak, he's mentioning the names of all the candidates so that at least we will confirm that all these candidates are accepted to partake in this election. Now, Beatrice, I want us to focus on the presentations that were made. You just gave an overview of the former president's presentation. There was something that cut through, that the mistakes NPP is making today, the level of impunity that appears to have dominated how they want to govern this country is something that his government is assuring Ghanaians won't happen. Because many people assume that NDC is coming to power just for vengeance. And then he speaks to what he intends to do should he become our next president. Infrastructure, uniting the country, thinking about how best to ensure that the public purse is protected. Is it a reassuring message that syncs with the theme for this Congress?
Yes, of course, it's a reassuring message because the public resources are the resources of the citizens. And no political party, whether MPP or NDC, merely because you have the power to govern the people, should you be led or misled to believe that you have the right to use the resources in the manner that you like. And so you've seen the former president's commitment to fighting corruption in the past. You've seen how he's had to punish elements in his own party where he believes that state resources were not used rightly. And in managing a post-COVID economy, we have to even use the resources in a more effective way. And so President Mahama is saying that I've done some before. I don't think that if you take Kwame Nkrumah away, any president in the Fourth Republic has achieved the kind of infrastructural development that we experience. And so he's saying that given the resources that we have, we want to do the $1 billion big push. We want to make the lives of the citizens better because truthfully, the citizens are not asking for too much. All they are asking for is for a richer and better life. And I think that the NDC and any political party owe that to them, and that is the commitment come 2025.
Now, I'm sure when PPP was speaking, you may have been reflecting on the narratives I've heard you share severally. I.e., speaking straight to government today about things that have brought us where we are and using this to subtly appeal to the presumptive candidate of the NDC to look at how best they may want to adopt some of the things they said, taking Ghana out of the mess we find ourselves.
Yeah, in very recent times, if you've been following the former president, you realize that we are championing a new theme of the Ghana we want. And in this Ghana we want, we are trying to listen to what the citizens want. We are trying to say that we want to build a consensus together with the citizens. And it was even made manifest in how our 2020 manifesto was drafted. And so this time we didn't sit as a political party to come and impose on Ghanaians what we believe was best for them. But together we drafted the manifesto. It's the same way. Many other political or small political parties have some very brilliant ideas that they cannot implement. In the NDC, we have shown that we listen. We have shown that feedback from the citizens are very important, because you cannot seek to govern the people and not respect their views. And so whatever suggestions these smaller political parties will bring on board, as long as it's in the interest of the Ghanaians, as long as there is data to support that, is a good idea. The NDC is committed to implementing that.
It's good to hear, but you come across as a very young, articulate, intelligent lady. I'm not flattering you. And it's not because I want to give you a certain love letter. No, that's not what I am talking
That's
about.
fine.
But you represent hope, or a mentor for young women. For you as a political party activist, and knowing where we are as a country and looking into the future, what should inform a young lady or a woman's wish to tag along with you in your party?
Okay, I think this is a very important question, and over the period since I became very vocal, I've had a lot of young people say that we want to see something differently done. We want to align with the NDC. And I keep saying that within the context of Ghana, if you're a young person and you want any hope, you want any future, you want that our collective aspiration as a people should be realized, the NDC is a better alternative. I have been on several NDC platforms. I have been with the NDC for more than 15 years. And collectively, and every time you think that development is the agenda for every narrative. Internally, even where we depart, is the methodology. But consistently, we've had the people of Ghana at heart. Consistently, it's always been about how to make the lives of the citizens better. And we've had the opportunity to govern this country. The MPP has had the opportunity to also govern the country. They are currently governing. But you will see that when it comes to the desire to make Ghana better, if you look at all the indicators that show that an economy is developing, for instance, health. Nobody has built more hospitals than the NDC has built. When it comes to education, no political party has built the number of secondary schools, university, primaries than the NDC government. When it comes to agriculture, no government has ever been committed to revamping agriculture. And these are the basic things that any developing nation like Ghana should get right. So if you have a political party like the I proudly associate with, then I think that if any young person wants to have hope, if any young person wants to have an aspiration to contribute to making Ghana better, your best bet is to join the NDC, because devoid of these things is also the NDC being a congress. And you've seen the beautiful congress we've had. It doesn't matter what your surname is. It doesn't matter where you come from. I've had the challenge of people asking me, where do you come from? And I said, I came from nowhere.
I wanted to ask a question that, who is this? I don't know whether to call it a small girl or a young woman or whatever. You emerged from nowhere and many people admire you, even people on the other side of the political divide. So let me play around it. What attracted you into where you are today?
Oh, it was basically the ideology of the NDC. I wanted a party that will give every young person an equal opportunity despite your race, gender, educational background. And when we were in the tertiary or in KNUST, I had the opportunity to visit both Tescon and Tain. And I realized that at Tain, it didn't matter what your political persuasions or what your tribal inclinations were, you'll be given the opportunity. And woman, you'll be given the support you need. And the NDC offered me that if I were to belong to the MPP, I needed to show my family or some other lineage or some other affiliation. But the NDC, if you can prove that you have something to show, everybody will give you the opportunity. And that is the beauty of the party that I belong to. So you see that many great people of the NDC who have even gone beyond Ghana to the international stage, they practically came from nowhere and the NDC made them who they are. And so I'm also one of those examples. And if you're a young person watching me, if you have whether a political career or you don't even have a political career, the NDC gives you that platform, that opportunity that I don't think that anybody can give you anywhere.
What do you see going forward, looking at the NDC as a party? But let me remind those who have just joined us that this is the election center, Wizard TV's election center. We are doing this with TVXYZ. Just call a friend to follow us on different platforms and making reference to social media. And of course, your TV set, if you are watching us on TVXYZ or Wizard TV. Just a while ago, the cameras were going around the stands and the cameras were helping us to appreciate what is going on as we speak. The NDC is calling all the candidates. They are mentioning the names of the candidates according to how their names appear on the ballot paper. The agents have been prepared and they are taking their various locations. The bigger picture, if you look at the main football field, that is where the polling stations are and well arranged, and we are told the delegates will be voting simultaneously. It's almost 5 o'clock, and we guess that after the names of the delegates have been mentioned, the voting process will start, but not until the EC has officially taken over. Now, at this stage, delegates can only wait. They may have made up their minds already, but before we came here, there were all kinds of uncertainties. Now, what should be the takeaways after witnessing the process, which appears to be smooth so far?
I think that I want to appeal to delegates that the 2024 election is a make or break for the NDC. For those of us who are on the battlefield and on the front line, it's important that delegates consider the collective good of the 6.4 and beyond million members of the NDC in making a decision today. The delegates have an obligation, a moral one at that, to make sure that they give us national officers who usher us into victory. Not just victory, but a resounding one to make a statement to the MPP that you cannot take the power of the people for granted, so that when people give you power, you do not manage the nation in the most reckless and negligent manner that we've seen the MPP do. And so that moral obligation for the delegates to go to the polls, to give us leaders who can hold the MPP accountable, who can stand up to them, who can exercise every right imposed, whether at law, by convention, or as a matter of moral authority, is a right that I think that the delegates should not play with. And like every member of the NDC, we've given the delegates the powers to say that, come and make the decision for us. And so I want delegates to put their personal sentiments aside and ask before the vote that for each candidate that I'll be voting for, what would be the future of the NDC with that candidate? What would be the 2024 or what would the 2024 elections be like? And give that mandate so that together we can win the 2024. Because I say that the 2024 election is not just about the National Democratic Congress. It's about the soul of Ghana. It's about positioning Ghana at a place to say that this is the Ghana we want. And it's the NDC that can give us the Ghana we want, not the current abysmal performance that we are experiencing under this incompetent government.
Now, before you go, there is this school of thought that people sometimes go for positions right from the branch through the constituencies, regional, and even the national level. And as soon as they get the position, they are not much interested in going underground, mobilizing people, and doing what they are expected to lead the party from wherever their jurisdictions are. Anytime people go into elections, this thought comes through the minds of some of the delegates. What should be the advice to incoming elected officials and at the same time to the party itself to be on the lookout for people who are not working, to expose them so that the party can be sure that it is on the right path towards victory in 2024?
So to the contestants or the candidates, I want to say that the NDC has always been about the masses. The NDC has always been about people. And so you cannot want a position and not serve the people, whether they be Ghanaians or they be party people. And so if you know you cannot serve, please, you have an opportunity to step down now before the delegates begin to vote.
Okay, thank you very much, Patrice. And I took a little of your time. I believe before we wrap up, you will join us again. We'll go back to the podium and listen to Kofi Adams while Dr. Nene Adams Asafote and Dr. Yao Sebastian Nafra joins us. So let's listen to Kofi Adams, who is continuing with the announcements as far as the delegates' call is concerned.
So here is Samuel Yao Edu saying, number two is Johnson Asiedu Inketia. Johnson Asiedu Inketia is number 2 on that ballot paper. Thank you very much. Thank you. Number 3 on the ballot paper is Samuel Ofosu Ampofu. Samuel Ofosu Ampofu. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Number 4 on the ballot paper is Ni Ama Ashite. Ni Ama Ashite. Thank you very much. I thank you for all the attention that you gave me. I will announce for the final, the voting centers I'll be making. Greater Accra region, they will open the gate in front of you. So delegates will walk onto the inner perimeter. And the first center, when you enter the perimeter, counting from my right, the first center is Center A. The second center is Center B. And those two centers are for Greater Accra, Center A and Center B. You have already been informed constituencies that will be in Center A and constituencies that will be in Center B. So if you are in Center A, don't go to Center B. And also take this very important announcement. When you finish voting, you are not to remain in the perimeter. You are to immediately use the next gate for exit and go back to your seat and receive announcements from your regional executives. After voting, go back to your position. The regional executives will give you announcements about your movement. The third center after Greater Accra is Volta region. So Volta region, take note. Counting from my right, the third center is Volta region. All of you are voting at the third center. The fourth center, Oti region and Western North. Oti region and Western North. You are going to the fourth center. When you finish voting, please exit and get back to your seat. Northern region, you will vote at the fifth center. Fifth voting center is Northern region. You are all voting at one center. Northern region is not divided. Ashanti region will come after Northern region, and that is voting center 6. So Ashanti region A, you are voting at voting center 6. Ashanti region B is voting at voting center, and Ashanti region C is voting at voting center 8. Voting center 8. Bono East and Savannah region, you are voting at voting center 9. Voting center 9. West region and Northeast. Upper West region and Northeast, you are voting at center 10. You are voting at center 10, and that is after Bono East and Savannah Center. Ahafo region and Bono region. Ahafo region and Bono region, you are voting at center 11. Eastern region B, you enter 13. Western region, you are voting at center 14. 14. Upper East region, you are voting at center 15, center 15. Central region, you are voting at center 16. Then the national center, where Council of Elders, our foreign chapters, and national executives, and some other category of voters will vote. They know themselves. That is voting center 17, the one directly in front of me. That is your center. I thank you very much. At this point, I will hand over to the Electoral Commission of Ghana, so they will take over and invite the agents and take us through. However, my region, Oti region, I especially greet you all. Boom, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you. God bless us all. God bless all of you. Take time, enter the booths, and cast your vote quietly and get back to your seat. Those of you who left Legon with your keys, please hand those keys over to your regional organizer and secretary. Don't take the keys away. Hand over the key to your regional organizer or regional secretary. Don't take your key away. Thank you very much.
Good evening to everybody. I want to stand on the protocol that have already been raised. We will plead with everybody who is inside the perimeter and is not a national election committee or an agent to please go to where you have been assigned to be. We want you to help us so that we can finish on time. So please, let's abide by the guidelines that we have set for ourselves. Honorable Kofi Adam has already indicated to you where the various delegates will cast their vote. Please, candidate agents to the polling stations. If you are not an agent, please leave the inner perimeter. This is the way we want to go about the process. We will be calling the constituency by constituency, and each constituency should be led by the chairperson, so that you guide your people to go through the process for us to finish on time. We will finish the voting till the last person has voted. We will not do the counting. When the last person has voted, they will do the counting simultaneously. Once the voting counting is finished, then we will collect the 17 results for each of the positions, and thereafter declare the results. This is simple, first past the post. The one with the highest number of votes is elected. So please help us to also help each other so that we'll finish on time. We will be begging of you. We want to tell you again that when we finish the voting and the center or the perimeter is crowded, we will not start the counting. We want to ensure that it is only those who are allowed to be in, especially the agents who are available before we will start the counting. On my right side is one of my deputies, Mr. Emmanuel Santikisi, who will help me. On my left side is Mr. Samodotata, also my deputy. We also came with 13 coordinators. The 13 coordinators will be those who will be helping to you to usher you to where you'll be voting. Please cooperate with them. Then, as you are aware, we have 17 polling stations, meaning that we have 17 presiding officers, and each polling station has somebody in charge of the register, somebody in charge of the indelible ink, and 9 people who will be issuing out the various ballot papers. Everything has been said. The candidate has been introduced to you. So I will now hand over to my deputies to take over from there. Mr. Kisi and Mr. Akwa, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Director of Electoral Services, Dr. Sribwo Kweku. This is the voting procedure. We have 9 positions being contested. The first table will be the table which will be in charge of the register. So the moment you enter the polling station, somebody will look at your card, the voter's ID card, party card, and then somebody will apply the indelible ink before you go to the voting center to pick the ballot paper for the chairman. You go to the voting booth, you make your choice, you come to the next table, where you pick the ballot paper for the vice chairman, and then it will follow suit. The voting is going on simultaneously. All the 17 centers will start at the same time. When a center finishes, it will not be counted until all the centers are finished. So presiding officers, take note of that. When your center finish, all the centers have to finish before we continue the next process. So ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start. And I will hand over to Mr. Kisi to also say one or two things.
Hello, thank you, Mr. Kwa. To the announcement of the agents, all the agents, according to the Election Planning Committee, were given provisional registers. But yesterday, you were given the final register. Please, we are using the final register. So any register that you received previously will not be valid for this exercise. We expect you to use the final registers. And as has been indicated, no one is supposed to take a picture of his or her ballot paper in the voting booth. That will be an offense. So please take note of that. Don't take a picture of your ballot paper in the voting screen. We will ask our coordinators to move into the various centers that has been allocated to them so that they can start directing the delegates into the various polling stations. All coordinators from head office, please move into the various polling stations that has been allocated to you so that we can start directing the agents to the various centers. Presiding officers, kindly give us the signal when you are ready so that we can open the centers for voting to commence. Thank you. Yes, presiding officers, you can open the ballot boxes that contain the ballot papers. Kindly go to pre-voting procedures with the agents before we commence voting. All presiding officers, please go through the pre-voting procedures. Check the number of ballot papers you receive at your center, fill the necessary forms for them, and open the polling centers. Thank you.
The EC officials have just finished their part of what we are witnessing. This is the first part of what EC will be. So the EC is speaking, and the summary of it is that campaign must stop because the voting process is beginning. Between now and when voting will be over, we'll be crossing over to the voting area for you to just witness what is ongoing. We'll be having conversations with guests as they walk through this studio, our makeshift studio here at the Accra Sports Stadium. Wisdom Hedejome and Randy Ahaji would also be located at various positions within the enclave to give us reports, speak to delegates, speak to whoever matters from time to time. I was having this conversation with two doctors. One is an investment consultant, one is a lecturer and a financial economist. They are here as observers. I was engaging them when the official ceremony started. So they took leave of us and came all the way from Connecticut in the U.S. He is also here as a monitor and observer. He's an investment consultant, and I'm told he's a deep-rooted NDC member way back in the U.S. Now he represents the Tema West constituency. You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Right. So now let's begin. First of all, why we are here has started. stadium is very quiet. Almost every delegate has descended to the base of the stadium, and you notice that almost every seat is occupied. So it will just suggest that at the time when the speeches were being presented, many of the delegates were still outside, probably listening to people who were trying to woo them to vote for their candidates, or whiling away the time till the final moment, for which reason they have driven all the way from their constituencies to the Accra Sports Stadium. Between now and when the EC will officially announce that the election is over, we expect that the delegates will be comporting themselves and this process will go on smoothly. Dr. Asafote, almost all the presentations by the NDC officials pointed to one thing: let's unite. This government is a failure. Ghanaians have their hope in the NDC. The NDC has done it before, and we will fail Ghanaians if we forget why we are here, elect the right people, and ensure that we'll wrestle power from them. Good to share at this moment.
It is a very poignant message. It is critical at this moment in time. It's a message that is at the core of the purpose of the party, the National Democratic Congress. Yes, we all know the difficulties that Ghanaians are facing now. It is a tough time. It's tough times for us and tough times ahead. We also know that the IMF is in town, and therefore they will serve as, if you call it, watchmen over the affairs of government. One good thing that is showing is that all Ghanaians have realized that NDC really did well prior to 2016, and they're looking forward to seeing the party back in power. And for that matter, they will also be expectant of seeing the leadership of the National Democratic Congress towing that line, acting as a party in waiting to form government. And therefore, we need unity. We need some level of confidence coming from the leadership. And today's voting is going to tell the whole country that indeed the National Democratic Congress is prepared to wrestle power come 2024. And therefore, the burden on the delegates at this time round is even heavier. We therefore ask them to remain composed, to do the needful, vote, walk calmly to the voting, the booth, vote, and then move out, follow directions. Security is intact here. Do what you are told to do. And if you look at the setup, it is well done. Some regions have like 2-3 polling booths for each position, and so all the regions will be voting at the same time. All constituencies will vote. And the turnout for me is also great. And therefore, this call goes to the core of the reason why they are all here. And
now, Doc, you would notice that when you are elected as a leader of a political party, it is not just because of that position that you may assume that it reflects on your aspiration to see your political party win in any general election. It's more about your ability to mobilize people and the readiness of the rank and file of the party to work with you because they believe or they will accept that the delegates have made the right choice, and not necessarily because those delegates were influenced to choose the wrong people for them. And so it is instructive that whoever the party is electing today as the leadership should the people, the grassroots base of the party, should accept. And that will herald the beginning of how they want to mobilize supporters and get them to also be agents of telling the story to help the party to win an election. When it has to operate along this tangent, should delegates be informed about what they think they are representing their people for, or their personal interest, as sometimes happens?
Interestingly, NDC as a party has found a way around this. The number of delegates and the sheer representation of the numbers from the grassroots
Hold on, there's an announcement there. There's an announcement, so let's pick the announcement and then we come back to the studio.
Of the land, forward and secure future. People love our goal of peace,
So Kofi Adams has just finished the announcement. I'm here in the studio with two doctors, all into finance, and our conversation is about this Congress. Before Kofi Adams came, they were speaking to the expectations as far as the public is concerned. But let me chip in this. For you as a Ghanaian domiciled outside and coming home to hear the difficulties we are going through, and most especially a government that is not prepared to listen, to advise or take recommendations that will be of the interest of how to solve the problems that we face. When you sit back and you observe such leaders going outside our country and the diplomatic community or their peers treat them as if they are not aware of the mess in their countries, how do you feel? What are the conversations that you have?
It's absolutely pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Most often than not, when you get into tight situations as a country, the body language of leadership is very, very, very crucial. If the body language of leaders is a direct disconnect from the aspirations of the people, it becomes a situation where people get disillusioned. So here we are, having the leaders of this country not changing their way of life, their opulence, their mismanagement, large size of government, etc. They maintain that same type of life prior to the difficulties Ghanaians are faced with. I think that the leaders of this country must think about the people. Think about the suffering they're going through, the disillusion attitude that you see from the faces of the people and change a few things that are critical to help ameliorate the pain our people are going through. Up to now, we still have a large government. The number, I've lost count. I'm sure we're getting to over 200 ministers and
their deputies.
And that is a pain. Because if you look at larger countries with bigger population and the executive class limited to, say, 15 or 20, and they are still performing, and we have a country of 31 million people with a barrage of ministers who are not changing the narrative so far as economic development is concerned, I think the government needs a rethink.
Okay, so we'll be wrapping up shortly. I'm sure while we fold up with this conversation, you'll still be watching the scenes. We have a few playbacks of the interviews we've done and the presentations by some of the officials who spoke here, but I'll take your last words. A lot of people are watching television both home and abroad. A lot of people have followed the processes. For you as an observer, if you were speaking to them or you were talking to any average Ghanaian about what to do as we all look forward to a united country with better aspirations and a good governance, what would you say briefly?
I will say to Ghanaians, both in and out, that the few, if you like, rancor agitations that seem to have characterized the campaigns is not showing at all on the grounds here. Indeed, if you are around here, you see the serenity, the lively environment, the well-organized, Congress, and how people are going about freely. Voting is currently ongoing and everybody is moving. Security is highly tight. That also compels me to say congratulations to the Ghana Police Service for the comportment, the way they are handling people. We as monitors, observers, we've not seen any critical issue as of now, and we are not expecting any of such things because those things happen during a time that people are converging and, delegates are campaigning for their candidates and all of that. But till now, nothing has happened, both within and outside of the venue here. Everything is calm. Those will be, celebrating, doing Jama and all of that. So it's going on well. And that tells me that the reorganization processes that the NDC started, I think somewhere around the beginning of the year, has really gone down well. They got to a level where they had to even vet people who are standing for executive positions at the branch level. And so that culminated into a good constituency elections where they've really elected some very qualified candidates, and that also came into the region, and it is showing pretty clearly here. The delegates are just cool.
So when you went round, you were satisfied with the processes you were observing?
I am highly satisfied. In fact, we have been around, like since yesterday, we did a recce in the evening, walked around, look at, the whole scene, and then this.
Many people who know you are in Ghana, and of course, many people who are members of your party in the US will be happy to watch what is going on through the lenses of Ways or TV and those monitoring us on other platforms, TV XYZ to be specific. If you were talking to them back from Accra about what you have seen, an NDC which is planning towards a major election, what would you share as your testimony?
Simple information. NDC is rallying for victory 2024, and that is not a slogan. The body language says so, the character says so, the history of the NDC says so. And if there is any party, political party in Ghana that needs the support of everybody, including those in the diaspora, is the NDC. If you rally your support, vote appropriately for this party so that Ghana will be mainstream in its developmental pattern. So that where we need to be, we will get there. Not as a mirage, but as a reality.
Well, so I've been speaking to Dr. Yao Eli Sebastian Nafra. He's an investment consultant and he's seated on my right-hand side. He's within the Tema constituency. So he says he's from Tema West, a proud Tema West constituent and a member of the NDC. He came all the way from the U.S., Connecticut, and he's here with us. At this stage, we'll be leaving you with the scenes from the Accra Sports Stadium. But my other guest on my left is Dr. Nene Adams Asafote. He's an observer. He's a lecturer, an adjunct lecturer at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, graduate school. And of course, he's a financial economist. So gentlemen, thank you very much. Please don't go away. We are with you. From time to time, we'll be running commentary. But just observe as the delegates vote. Okay.
Your Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, former President of the Republic of Ghana, members of the Functional Executive Committee of the party, members of the National Executive Committee of the NDC, leadership of the minority group in Parliament, and our hard-working MPs, former ministers of state present here, members of the diplomatic corps, Nime, Naime, Nananum, Togbo, and other eminent traditional leaders, party executives, and delegates from the regions, constituencies, and branches. Representatives of political parties here present, lead contestants in today's national elections of the NDC, distinguished invited guests, our friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. The prolific writer William Shakespeare wrote, "Small share and great welcome make a merry feast." As we gather this morning to commence the Congress of the Great National Democratic Congress, NDC, I, on behalf of the Functional Executive Council or Committee of the Party, the National Executive Council, the organizing committee of this Congress, and all other organs of the party, welcome you warmly to the Accra Sports Stadium for this historic event. I trust that at the end of our Congress, we will all make a merry feast. The 10th Congress of our party is significant for a variety of reasons. I will share a few of these reasons with you. We are having our Congress at a time when this country is going through a plethora of excruciating economic, social, and political challenges. For the first time in the history of our dear country, the hard-earned income and investment of hard-working Ghanaians and pensioners are being forcefully subjected to strange haircuts like Tokyo Joe and backbush.
Free, freshly squeezed fruit juice. Choose Greenline fruit juice and smoothies filled with vitamin C, calcium, iron, fiber, and zinc. Every drop of Green Line juice and smoothies is naturally made to give you energy, good health, and refreshment. Enjoy your favorite Green Line orange, pineapple passion, watermelon, pineapple and turmeric, pineapple beetroot, pineapple and ginger, and healthy green. Green Line. Juice and smoothies, powered by nature.
Sports Stadium to the Santiago Bernabeu, from the Bukum Arena to the Madison Square Gardens. We would make sure that you do not miss out on all the scoop, the kicks, and all the clicks in the world of sports, from association football to boxing to hockey to tennis. We make sure that we bring the action to you right in your home. And for our punters out there as well, we have something very special for you in the Investors Corner. Join me on Wazer TV every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for Ghana's #1 sports post-mortem show, The Arena. My name is Kosi Fiaka, and I will be your host. And I'm back, this time in front of the camera. The show is Wazer TV Insights, and it's a conversation. We will talk about everything that is of relevance to us as a people. Law, politics, the media, family values, love, sex, relationships, just about anything at all. Join me at 8 p.m. every Monday on Wazer TV Insights, and let's discuss some real life issues.
Your flight is ready to leave.
Sit back and relax and enjoy the flight.
collect any money. It is time for you to go and vote. Ignore all these messages. Put your mobile phone aside. Be in a queue and vote. Ghana Police, be ready, please. The MPs and former MPs are occupying space in front of the dais here. I will urge the Ghana Police to open a space for them to be able to file through and get to their centers so we can decongest this area. Every MP, please move to your region. I will be announcing the regional voting centers again. Ghana Police, please verify them and let them quickly pass because they will be voting first. A number of them in front of me, I can see our colleague MPs and former MPs. So please verify them quickly, let them go through and get to their regions. Greater Accra region, Center A is the first center, that is 1. B will be voting at Center 2, that is for Greater Accra. So when you enter the voting perimeter, to my right, the first center is for Greater Accra A, Group A. Group B is the second voting center. So MPs and former MPs from Greater Accra, when you enter the perimeter, go to the first and second center, depending on your category, if you are in A or B. The third center is for Volta region. Volta region. So MPs from Volta region and former MPs from Volta region who are all here, when you enter the perimeter, when it's open for you, walk straight to the third voting center. MPs from Western, North, and Oti region, former and now, and other appointees who are also delegates and are here. When you enter, walk straight to Center 4, counting from my right. Count 1, 2, 3. The fourth place is for Western, North, and Oti region. Northern region, when you enter the perimeter, identify Center 5. Counting from my right, 1, 2, up till the 5th point, that is where Northern region will be voting. Ashanti region, former MPs and current,
children of the land. Forward and secure future. Development, our goal. From vision to victory, the end is shall lead. Stable democracy, our strength to unity. From vision to victory, the end is shall lead. Stable democracy, our strength to unity. From vision to victory, the end is shall lead.
Northern region, you vote at Center 5. Ashanti region, you will vote, Group A will vote. East region and Savannah, you are voting at Center 9. Upper West and Northeast is voting at Center 10. Upper West and Northeast, you are voting at Center 10. Ahafo and Bono region, you are voting at Center 11. Ahafo and Bono region, you are voting at Center 11. I can see some of you carrying chairs. You are not allowed to pick chairs from anywhere to the inner perimeter. Police don't allow anybody to carry any chair towards the inner perimeter. Anyone holding a chair towards there, please walk the person
an apt call made by one of the political actors. Since you don't have one of these key political actors in there, then there is, a vacuum that needs to be created, needs to be filled. So I think it's a good call. NDC must take it into consideration and begin to warm their way up to the Electoral Commission to sit on that committee.
Of course, we heard from the national chairman, Ofosu Ampofo, and his biggest contender, the General Secretary of the party, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. You heard Johnson Asiedu Nketia at the end of his speech actually apologizing to people, those that he thinks he has stepped on their toes during his tenure as General Secretary, and also asking them to rally behind him if he wins the contest. Now, you may have followed what has happened in the runoff to this particular Congress. People accusing Johnson Asiedu Nketia, for instance, for, exposing the party or actually making public secrets of the party or
and having a conversation here and there. And if you have someone who can communicate the party's position.
The conversation has been between Samuel Ofosu Ampofo and Johnson Asiedu Nketia, those two stalwarts in that slot. Your thoughts about those two being there?
Well, whether we like it or not, these are great minds for the politics of our country. Because if you look at the pedigree of Johnson Asiedu Nketia, on the political scene now, if you look across the two political parties, he stands way above everybody. Whether we like it or not, these are great minds for the policy agenda, and then went into office as General Secretary. Former member of parliament, last year.
I mean, if this went for international arbitration, I mean, he would us on the north. I mean, the problem with them, you have diplomats there, they have diplomats here. I mean, the foreign affairs minister can summon them, their diplomats, and speak. I mean, this is how we tackle issues that has to do with diplomacy, And then you don't talk about stuff that you don't know about, that you're not sure about. What is the kind of briefing that he got from national security that suggested to him that we are at risk?
So far, so good. So far, there are no any challenges. We think that it's okay. By the end of the day, it will be successful. And NDC will win.
So what's your message for the NDC?
Yes, my message is from this elephant party, inshallah. And inshallah, we are winning 2024.
Inshallah, they are winning 2024. If you're an aspirant and you win, you come on board. If you're an aspirant and you don't win, you also come on board.
Going to be crack. I don't see that in NDC now. People actually mean that they are cracks.
Okay.
When people lose elections, know that when you lose election, you go home. It's like you're alone. Nobody calls you, and sometimes you feel very bad. Sometimes even your friends can, ignore you. Sometimes friends that you think were supporting you, you see them with the other person who won. It makes you feel bad.
Failure is an orphan.
Exactly.
Success has got a lot of fathers.
So there should be a platform to bring you together to make you feel you are very important. That is one. And that is why you need a reconciliation platform and assurances that when we win, you will have a role to play. Not just when we win, some of them must be co-opted into committees and offices. So when you win, all is not lost. You can be given roles to play. Fred Agbenyo, he contested for the communication of, he lost. But right now, he was appointed as Deputy Director of International Affairs. So he's doing something. When he lost, I'm sure he felt very bad. And he was given that appointment after the internal reconciliation processes. As to the issues, accusations, and counter-accusations, it will never stop in our political dispensation. Wait till the MPP goes for their flag bearership race. You see the kind of issues that will come out. But after that, MPP will not crack. So I'm telling you that there will be no cracks. People will be aggrieved because somebody said one thing or the other. Usually what happens is that they have personal grudges with those individuals who lied against them. So, but not against the party. When you lose, you want the party to assure you that, Charlie, when we win, me too, I'll be recognized. Or even before winning, we'll put you into some committees so that you'll be working. Do you get me? Once you do that, they'll be fine, except that you that lied, or you tarnish their reputation, they will have personal issues with you until you go and apologize, So that's why some people said that, look, whatever happens, there'll be peace. Let me tell you what, the heartbeat of the NDC today is that we want to win 2024. So for now, we are willing to put everything behind us so that we'll go and take the 2024, and then whatever we have, we continue.
Okay.
So I am sure that there's going to be a committee. Of course, there is a reconciliation committee, and they will attempt to meet all the winners and the losers and find a way to bring everybody on board. If there is need to render an apology quietly, they will do that. If there is need for people to be co-opted, they will do that. Everybody will be involved. Nobody will be left out, and nobody will be bitter.
Okay.
Look at this person like the former MP for Adenta,
Edward
Sari. You remember his situation? He felt very bitter. Today, is he bitter? Something happened. So these processes, they are natural. Accusations will come, counter-accusations will come, tapes will come. But after elections, I'm telling you, we are good to go. We are more hungry for power than staying.
Sam, we'll leave it here.
Thank you very much
for joining us. I know you're going back to the grounds to go and fix. All right, so that's Sam Atukwe, who is a lawyer. He's a member of the election committee for the NDC, member national legal team for the NDC, former MC for Ga West, and former deputy Greater Accra regional secretary for the NDC. He joined us for us to look at the various candidates and also have a discussion concerning the Congress that is coming off as we speak. Voting is underway at the Accra Sports Stadium. We take a break now. We'll get ready for a major news bulletin at 7, and after that we'll return with the entire coverage. We're going to be throughout to let you know exactly who is going to come out and who is going to be the chairman, who is going to be the general secretary, and other positions too that will be elected for this evening. I'm George Sapo. I had Winifred joining me together with Rebecca. We'll see you. Don't go anywhere. Right after our major news bulletin at 7. Bye.
As the year peters out, traditionally,
it's good timing to look back,
reflect and review on everything from 0101.
so that when the new year rolls in,
You can recharge your energies.
timing is also right to send a huge shout out of gratitude
to you, and you, and you, our viewers.
Our good wishes to you. As the best day in the year. And by all standards, 2023 promises to be another phase of many new memories. So whether 2022 was the best or worst year of your life, or somewhere in between, let's focus on what we did right. Even if things didn't go the way you wanted, celebrate every small step.
don't forget this is the Rata or your bucket list.
Dear world, I am excited to be alive.
And thankful for another year.
A new chapter in our lives will be written.
GBC News says, thank you for your eyeballs.
We drink your health,
wealth, fortune, and long years to come.
Together we stand.
This is GBC News.
Your news and governance channel.
Have been allowed into the main Accra Sports Stadium to ensure orderliness, to ensure that nothing untoward happens. And so this is a traffic light area in front of the Accra Sports Stadium. If you're a vehicle and you do not have the Congress pass, you will not be allowed to make an entrance into the Accra Sports Stadium, where the election will take place. Finally, we see the Ghana National Fire Service on standby to help by way of security. But quickly, let's speak to this particular man also, who is selling fugu. The politicians here in Ghana love to wear a lot of fugu, and so it's a common business here at the Accra Sports Stadium. Let's speak to this, my good friend, who is selling fugu here at the Accra Sports Stadium. Good afternoon to you. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
How is business so far? We've spoken to your other colleagues who say
business is trying to pick up? How is it going for you?
Oh, for now, we thank God. Because it's just the beginning. We are trying to see how go ahead and how possible things will go.
Have you made some sales so far? Have you sold one or two?
Yes, please.
How many have you sold so far?
I've sold so far, maybe 3. I've sold 3 of them. Yeah.
How much is one going?
One is 300. Yeah.
And how much did you buy it from the north? What's the wholesale price for Fugu in the north?
It doesn't have price because you buy the materials and then prepare them. Okay. So we don't normally go and buy them in bulk like this.
Oh, so you a leisure area, so to speak, where people, get something to drink, get something to eat in preparation for the election, which should be starting somewhere around 2 p.m. Here at the Accra Sports Stadium. And so business, as I said, is brisk. There are a lot of people who have mounted stands, selling food, selling fugu, and what have you, in anticipation of the numbers. We have some 9,000 delegates who will be casting their ballots. We have persons who do not have accreditation who will be going to and fro this particular street. They are all targeting these people to make some sales and make some money, especially as Christmas draws near. So this is our coverage of the NDC National Delegates Congress 2022 here at the Accra Sports Stadium. My name is Morris Ogbete. We'll be bringing you sights and sounds. We've been bringing you highlights of what's happening here at the Accra Sports Stadium. My name is Morris Ogbete once again, here at the Accra Sports Stadium. Bye. So we are still covering the 10th National Delegate Congress of the Opposition National Democratic Congress here at the Accra Sports Stadium. This is the forecourt of the Accra Sports Stadium. There's a lot going on here. The atmosphere very much charged. There is music, bobobo music coming from the stronghold of the NDC in the background. And so apart from business, which is brisk, there is also a lot of entertainment here at the Accra Sports Stadium. There is the display of the billboards of the various aspirants, talking about the national chairman, the national organizer of the NDC. There's a lot of business ongoing here and security is very tight. Let's speak to this coconut seller who has been here since morning, opening at saying business, Seneko, Michelle. That's what I'm talking Right. So that's a coconut seller. He says that business not too encouraging for him, but I'm hopeful that as the many delegates make their way to the Accra Sports Stadium, things are going to change for him. Let's speak to this woman who is selling NDC paraphernalia. Mommy, good afternoon. Saying na business Seneko.
Nyamia dumeye. Yeto kakra nyamia se yeto.
Wangasa we NDC ni.
Me NDC ni pa.
We delegate obeto aba.
Pa.
Okay. Why now obeto aba man, national chairman, secretary, organizer. Why now obeto to aba man?
National chairman.
Why now obeto aba man? I say dunketia na.
Dunketia. I say dunketia.
Ade now obeto aba man.
Why pa we papa. Ne hoya amanfo hoya no mobo. Nti ya tumanu a okwana ni mo betumi ahwe man no amaye.
And I say, all right, so she is a delegate herself. We've seen the supporters of the national chairman aspirant, Honorable Johnson Asedun Ketia. They have arrived at the Accra Sports Stadium. The atmosphere is charged. The delegates mentioning his name, the general himself, Johnson Asedun Nketia. His supporters have made it to. I'm not too sure. Speak to this particular lady. Good afternoon to you, and welcome to GBC News. Business, Seneko. We also uton batakari uton bags any eche. Emudia wena omotopa.
Oh, me buy em pabuana na omato bi kakra. Na fugo ne de omo bisa, but omo yentoy.
Na fugo no price no eh ahe.
Oh, 350 ne 300 and a 400 so.
And a bags no so uton.
Bags no so 150 or 120. Hats and 80 cedi ne 100 cedi.
Now Osha, I mean even though say I think a man for airba Osha is gradually picking. Understand exactly how business has been. Good afternoon. Business, Seneko, Oton Lamujin, any drinks, any drink, send a business.
Oh, yeah, then Yamias, be a cost of fine. Be a cost of fine. See, then Yamias.
So far, what's on best sign?
Oh, at least they say that me 300.
One can say we are delegates. We better to abide.
Debbie, yes.
We are NDC supporter. It's a
organizer.
Our constituency.
Sampi.
Yabami chairman.
win, and he will win, inshallah.
Thank you very much. So those were supporters of Honorable Johnson Asedu Nketia. They believe that he is a man of courage. He is a fearless man. He is a man they want to lead the party as a chairman going into the 2024 elections. We are still here at the forecourt of the Accra Sports Stadium. Business is brisk. People selling water, selling the very things that the delegates will need. We'll speak to this particular woman who has been selling water at the Accra Sports Stadium. Mommy, good afternoon. It's business no Seneco. Okay. Until by unto be cry. Alright, so it does appear that the reactions are mixed. There are some who believe that business has been good. There are some also who think that it's not been too well, and they are hoping that business will pick up as that many delegates make their way to the Accra Sports Stadium. And so this is the security arrangement we see at the Accra Sports Stadium. If you are a vehicle which does not have a pass, you will not be allowed to go past this particular barricade that we see here. Security very much on point. Not so many. All right, so we're still here at the Accra Sports Stadium. It's the 10th National Delegate Congress of the NDC. We'll speak to Honorable Dela Soa. She's the MP for Pando constituency, a former Deputy Minister for Children, Social Protection, for that matter, gender. She's a delegate. She'll be voting at this particular Congress. Good afternoon to you, Honorable.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. So, what are your expectations by close of polls today? What are your expectations?
My expectation is that MDC will win.
Right.
I mean, irrespective of who wins, the delegates are the ones to speak. All of us together, not me as an individual. I may like candidate A, but maybe the delegates who don't like my candidate. Let me put it that way. So at the end of the day, it's what the delegates will say. That is it. We will respect their decision and abide by it.
Should the delegates retain the incumbent executives, or there should be a change moving forward?
It's their decision. The